Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Despenada, and I am here with a very special Autumnal Equinox reading. So let's get started. This is a change of the season. We're starting off strong, and we're starting off hard. We have the Five of Pentacles. Let's see what this is all about. We have the Page of Wands. We have the King of Swords. We have the Empress. We have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Swords. The Star. The Two of Coins. The Page of Coins. And Judgment. I'm going to stop here for right now. So, Autumnal Equinox, the first day of fall. I honestly initially was going to be doing this reading yesterday to have you guys prepared, but why not celebrate with a reading on the actual day? So let's get into it. We have the Five of Coins. The Five of Coins, as you see, there's someone here that is trying to keep warm. They are depicted as someone that is without. And if you actually look closely, you'll see here that they have a few burnt matches that they've gone through. They're basically utilizing all that they have. They're lacking in a great way. So they're utilizing all that they have. So one of the things that has been shown in many of the other readings is that those who watch, now mind you, put a pin in that really quick. As I prepare my setup, there's a processes that I go through. There's a method that I utilize. And one of the prayers, chants, one of the things that I say in order to prepare a reading is I have the dedicated few that I call upon. So I'll show you how I do it. I say, Infinite Universe, Cosmic Mothers, Cosmic Fathers, Divine Mothers, Sacred Spirit Guides, Ascended Antepasados, Blessed Guardians, and Miraculous Angels. I give thanks, and then I ask to connect with them for these readings, to impart words of wisdom for guidance, protection, and healing for those that are seeking it. That's how I set up my prayer. That's my prayer. As I prepare for a reading. That's initially why I do these readings, because I want to impart what I can, transmute these messages, and share them. So this, and when I say for those who have been watching, I do have a dedicated few that watch. These are words of wisdom. So typically those who watch or particularly watch me, have all had similar struggles that they've been dealing with. And many of them have been in regards to resources. I always say resources because, again, as I clarify that can be anything. It can be money, it could be information, it can be education, it can be connections. Resources can mean just about anything. In this sense, I say this because many of those that have been watching have been people that have been working very, very hard to change their life around, whether just for themselves, whether to ensure that they'll have a better future, whether they're trying to make sure that, they're creating stability, not just for themselves, but for their families. Many different reasons, but it's more or less the same aspect. So the reason why I say this is because Pentacles is typically associated with monies, with finances, but it's not just that. It's a reminder that it can be any sort of resource. Those that have been working hard to ascertain their finances or to improve their financial situation, this does not that this doesn't pertain to you, but this is just a reassurance that it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your monies. Mind you, watching this is a resource. This is information for you. It is a resource guide for you. Now, I'm here sharing this resource with you. It's information. What this is, or at least tying this to the full moon reading we just had last week, this is trying to explain that this isn't necessarily monetary, but rather there has been a lot of emotional guidance that has been being provided to you. That's the information, the resources being provided to you, and really focusing on what it is that you need to communicate and how you feel. Knowing how to communicate when you've identified what it is that you feel is very important. This is kind of stating that. So while it's traditionally associated with monies, realistically, in this reading, the feeling that I get that needs to be transmuted, that needs to be shared, the words of wisdom that needs to be given, is that emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you need to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. This image is very important, mind you. This little individual here who's burning all the matches that they have because they don't have any other source of warmth are outside of what appears to be a building with stained glass windows. Traditionally, buildings with stained glass windows have been churches, places of worship. So if you feel that you've been lacking in support, have you asked for support? Or are you waiting for support to just magically show up? This is going to resonate to a few of you. But help has to be asked. I did speak to someone close to me recently, and one of the things that I had explained, these are some lessons that I have learned since I have started my readings a couple years back. Actually, I'm just realizing that it's been close to 4 to 5 years that I've been doing these readings and sharing these readings. So one of the biggest things that was learned for myself, and I'm going to share my personal wisdom with you, is that we have worked and have been taught and have learned how being strong is something that is a source of pride. It's strength and pride, I think, have a lot to correlate with each other, and it shows in a huge sense because there comes a point where you're tired and you constantly hear, you got to be strong, pray for strength, but you're strong, you can handle it, and it gets tiring eventually, not just physically, but it becomes a cycle. It's a domino effect. All those different points that I had mentioned last time, the mental wellness, the emotional wellness, the spiritual wellness, the physical wellness, it starts to fall down one by one like a domino. One affects the other, affects the other. Those balances that we can never fully reach all at once begins to become too heavy. And while we understand that, yes, we know we can be strong, we become too tired. But that's a question of, why is vulnerability seen as a weakness? versus a strength. Do you understand how humbling it has to be able to say, I'm too tired, I can't do this anymore, to people around you that are having the same mindset of strength, strength, strength. We're not machines, we're human. While we know that we can get through it, it's okay to say, I'm tired. Today, I just can't. And to be vulnerable enough to cry and to share, that's strength. That's a strength that's not shared enough. That's not a strength that's not accepted enough. To say, you know what? Yes, I am tired. Yes, I do sometimes feel like a victim. Yes, I feel like screaming, why me? We've all been through that. A lot of us have, especially those that are watching right now. I understand that I get messages a lot of the time that say, were you talking about me? And it's just like, the people that are drawn are those that are seeking what they need to seek, and the information that I provide, it just flows out of me. Sometimes if you watch me long enough, I'll start reading and I don't even know where it's going, but once we get to the oracle cards, it puts together everything that's flowed out. That's why I say I don't make this shit up. It's just, it comes out as it needs to. So this is for those of you that are tired. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable, because all this individual need do is knock on the door and say, hey, can you help me? And a lot of the times it sucks because yes, we ask for help and we get turned down, or the people that we can ask for help or ask help to don't have any of the means themselves. And sometimes it's just that emotional support that you need. Just to someone to be like, hey, all I can offer you is a hug right now. And hey, that's something. That's where we understand the importance of how a small match may be all that we need to get through the night. Whew, really heavy stuff. And right now, it is a changing of a season. It is a brand new season. It is a season of gratitude. That's what we celebrate when it comes to the autumnal equinox, is when everything that's been sowed is being reaped, and we are celebrating the abundance of everything we've reaped after a season. So the Five of Coins is talking about a state of vulnerability, to be able to ask for assistance, or to ask for even just a hug, support. So we're also followed by the Page of Wands, a state of renewal. So in this image here, they have a cowtail whip and what looks to be a scythe. They're dancing. It is something of passion, determination. You're learning something new, right? The Page of Wands is you're learning how to embrace your passions. You're learning how to embrace the things that you're good at, that you're passionate about, that drive that dedication within you, that determination. And we're followed with the King of Swords. The King of Swords, as I've stated it again, is the no bullshit card. It's time to cut the bullshit. Not just for yourself. It's being real with yourself. It's being real about what it is that you truly want to do, the things that you're truly passionate about. What is it that you can clearly state? How do you achieve that level of ultimate communication, to be able to negotiate, to be able to express how it is that you truly feel without misunderstanding? How is it that you can garner that courage to be able to express your vulnerability, to express what it is that you truly want? So mind you, we're with the Page of Wands. That's starting to understand what those passions are, if it's a new passion, whatever that case may be, or what it is that you're actually leveling up to. You want to ascertain this Empress level. That's what you've been working on. You want to sustain this level of achievement, like in your mind's eye, as you wake up every day, as you set your intentions every new moon, as you manifest every full moon, the Empress is that goal. That is your ultimate goal. That is what she's being depicted as. That level of closeness to your who you are, right? The embodiment of who you see yourself being. And that has not gone without struggle and without pain. And we see this with the Ten of Wands, and we see this with the Ten of Swords. This is not saying this is what's going to happen. This is just a reflection of what you've been through and why it's difficult for you to be emotionally vulnerable. Depending on the culture you've been raised in, the societal cultures you've been raised in, whether religion has had any influence on your life, the way that your familial structure works, there's a lot of reasons why there has been a lot of struggle. It could also be monetary struggles you've had your entire life. It could be, you know, some sort of lack. But what we see, and what I've reminded through the many readings that I've done, is that 10 is a reminder that is the end of a cycle. Especially now that we're exiting summer and we're entering fall, this is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So we have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands, as you see here, while it's typically seen as an indication of struggle, we see how important it is that the end of a cycle has happened. So the end of a cycle is represented here by the skull, that there has been some sort of death. But as we see here, the wands depict a tree, the branches of a tree, something that's grown out of that ending. So while, yes, the Ten of Wands does indicate struggle, difficulty, obstacles, this is an indicator that it is the end of a cycle before a new cycle begins. And mind you, we have the Ten of Wands here, an end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle with the Page of Wands. That is something new. That is something new to be learned. The individual that's here dancing is a youth, someone young, someone that is learning. Now you could be like, oh, but I'm not young. It doesn't matter. Every day is a new day to learn. So, and that is that reminder here with the Ten of Wands, that while this cycle of difficulty has ended, and as you're moving forward, sometimes as we remember what we have learned in the past with those obstacles, we are reminded of all the pain that has occurred with those difficulties. Now, here, the Ten of Swords is depicted by an individual whose fingertips have been cut off. They have been, they're being ended. They're being ended. As you see here, this Inuit tool for cutting blubber has been used to end this here. This can be interpreted in many different ways. But what I see is the biggest signifier of the ego death is the fact that this individual here has cut off the fingertips. Now, and it's strange because in this picture here, it is 8 fingertips that have been removed and the thumbs remain. The way that I interpret this, the way that I see this, is over the years and all the struggle that you have faced, you are a new person. You are the King of Swords. The King of Swords is not without pain. It is not without struggle. It is not without learning how to stand your ground. It is not without learning how to manage things, how to be strong. So the way that I see this Ten of Swords with the fingertips gone is the person wielding this tool to cut away an identity, an identifier. We're identified by our fingertips because of our fingerprints. What is dying, especially now that we're entering the fall season, is the ego, who we used to be, is letting go of who we once were as we start to go into our hibernation mode. The fall leads into the winter. The winter is typically the hardest time because of seasonal depression, things like that, but that's because during that time frame, much like a bear, much like a butterfly, we go into a type of hibernation. This is like when I say an ego death, sorry, as I express that we're going through an ego death, is a part of us that we no longer want to be is going away. We are burying that person. We're putting an end to it because it's someone we no longer want to be. It's a pain that we no longer want to experience. So we're getting rid of that old identity. We're cutting away what no longer serves us. And it's hard and it's a struggle when one goes through an ego death. I've talked about this a couple of readings back. Typically we see a lot of ego death surrounded with the card of death or the Tower card. Usually they're followed closely behind. However, here we're followed by the Star. Ego death is a very heavy thing to go through because you're letting go of who you used to be and having to be able to understand that there is no shame of letting go of that. And a lot of people can't handle that. Because then they start to feel like, well, that's who I needed to be. I needed to be a super strong individual. I needed to be a strong mother. I needed to be a heartless person. I had to do those things that I went through, or I have to be the strong person that isn't vulnerable because I have to be. Everyone mocked me when I asked for help. People would just throw it in my face if I asked for help. Well, you weren't surrounded by the best people. Those are people that are going through their own issues. But you're now in a state of where you shouldn't give up hope. We're followed by the Star card. In the darkness, you're not lost when you have that hope that you will have some light of the star to guide you out. Now, this is just a reminder, right? You are changing who you used to be, and it shows. You're understanding that what you used to be passionate about, all those old struggles that you went through to get to where the level you've been trying to reach has not been without struggle or pain. But the cycle is ending. There's new hope to be had, and it's not easy. We have the Two of Coins. I absolutely love in the seasonal cards that we read that the Two of Coins comes out because, and this is my favorite depiction of the Two of Coins. This is a choice. You have the ability to choose which type of resources available to you and how you pick, the concept of how you pick your struggles, right? So, the Two of Coins. Here, there is a mother who is carrying a cub, a bear cub, whose top half is bear and whose bottom half is human. And in the other arm, they are carrying a baby that the top half is human and the bottom half is bear. In their hands, they have two pentacles. Before them is a berry brush. Looks to be like raspberries, and you can tell that they're having a bit of a struggle Because they're heavy. The children being carried are heavy. So as they're traveling forward, there's a lot of reminders here. A lot of reminders of what you choose to carry is your choice. What you choose to let go is your choice. How you choose to let go of the past is your choice. And how you go about ascending is your choice. So, choices. The Two of Coins is just that reminder of we are not machine. We are not animals. We're not wholly animalistic. We are human. This is just that reminder of like that yin and yang of like there's darkness. There isn't light without darkness, and there isn't darkness without some light. So it's that balance. We are strong, but at the same time, we are also weak. We're also vulnerable. There's no one in this world that you can go and say like, oh, that person's never been weak. We all have moments of weakness. It just depends on where our weakness lies. It's that idea of like Achilles. Achilles could have been perfect except for that one weak point. Even Achilles in the stories was weak, and that was their downfall. But it isn't to say that we aren't all strong, but we aren't all weak either. It's just that reminder. It is simply a reminder. You can pick your struggles. You have the choice on how to continue moving forward as you ascend to the levels you have been dreaming about. We are followed by the Page of Coins, another coin, another resource, something new. So here it is depicted with, I think they're elk. They're surrounded by flowers with a young herding girl. So someone young, someone youthful, a state of newness. Learning new ways to ascertain what you lack. And how to deal with issues utilizing the new resources that you have. And then we're followed by the Judgment card. The Judgment card here is depicting the Golden Lotus, and this is a monkey god. Actually, I want to read this one because I'm not too familiar with the story, and I would actually like to properly explain it. Oh, here it is. So here, this is the sun Wukong, the Monkey King. So this is depicting this form is judgment, is the reckoning, and ending before the start of a new journey. Past actions and decisions determine future events. If you haven't learned your lessons, you are doomed to repeat your mistakes. So, typically, the way that I interpret judgment is, especially when it comes to with like the Two of Coins, where we have to make decisions, you have to use your better judgment, and that's kind of what this is explaining here, as you are moving forward in a new way, right? So again, this is a path, right? There's the cycle of end that we just described, having hope for a new beginning, remembering that you have the choices in picking your struggles, picking your path. You are the master of these choices as you move forward to utilize your new resources, right? You're learning. A page is it being in a state of learning, right? Because they're young, they're youthful. Again, that's the depiction of being in a state of learning something new, being malleable in that sense. And judgment is using your better judgment, using everything that you've learned in the past to make better decisions in the future. And that's just reinforced. But it is utilizing the Monkey King, right? I'm not too familiar with the storyline. I thought I would give a little bit more insight to that. But you heard what the card said. So let's see here. I'm going to stop here. We do have other cards, but realistically the cards that follow are all kind of reiterating what I explained before. So let us go with the Divine Feminine cards. Divine Feminine, what lesson do you have to add to this reading? Ooh, we have Thecla, the prophetess of true power. I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. And we have, forgive my mispronunciation, So Xuanjing, the mystic of peace. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. I'm very interested. I love reading the Divine Feminine cards. Usually they hit in such a way, which is why I typically reserve them for the seasonal readings. So Thecla is 44. Thecla represents the ability to call back all of our power. When your soul selects her card, Thecla's story echoes from the ancient world to the modern world. Your life is up to you. Yes, there is power of prayer, of faith, of asking for all possible spiritual support, but there's also divine within each of us. Its will is aligned with the soul's purpose. We remember what true power is when we divest all outside authority of the power we had been giving them. Power is calling back all the control we give others to dictate our lives. Our potential life partners, our family members, our culture, even our ego's idea of who we should be. Thecla reminds us that we do not need permission to be who we are. We can cut our hair short and baptize ourselves. We are not bound by anything except the dictates of our own soul. Her mudra is one of awe and wonder. We have all the power right now within us to take our life into our own hands. That is the source of fire. That is the source of fire itself. The divine will call back our spiritual authority and claim this life as our soul's own. So the meditation is, where have I given my power away? And remember, I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. Guys, I don't make this shit up, okay? So let us move on to, I need to learn more languages so I can pronounce these things correctly. I feel so bad when I can't. Okay. Shou Wanjing. Xuanxing. Oh God, that's awful. Okay, anyways. Sorry. Shou Xuanjing embodies the unwavering tranquility that exists deep within the turbulence of our daily thoughts. When your soul selects her card. Albert Einstein reportedly said that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Clarity only comes from clarity. There is peace and calm that exists far beneath the constant banter most of us listen to all day within our minds. Jungian author Clarissa Pinkola Estes calls it the river beneath the river. It's the steady flow of universal life force that wants us to reach our goal, if we can only get still enough to merge with it. Wu Wei in Taoism translates as doing nothing. It's a sacred feminine art of trusting the force of life that exists within us all. Soul mastered this spiritual practice by calming her mind and experiencing the still center that's the eye of every storm. So is a call for us to be still, to do nothing other than shift our awareness. Come out of the current state of mind we're in before making any moves or decisions. She reminds us that we only want to take action when what is moving us is the force of love at the heart of everything. So, the meditation. Enter the heart and ask to experience stillness. Repeat the mantra, I am peace. Remember the intention. I am peace. When my mind is clear, my way is clear. I can't make this shit up. You guys see when I shuffle. So this is an ego death, right? Like I explained before, there is you calling your power back as you ascend to who you want to be. And as you move forward to make the choices on how and who you will be vulnerable with as you move forward in seeking that peace. And as you are relearning, use your better judgment as you make those choices. We're going to close it out with the Enchanted Blossoms. Ooh, right off the back. Thank you so much. I find it funny. So we are given the Patience card. I know many of you who watch are very impatient. Some more than others, right? So we have the Patience card. Let's see what Patience has to tell us. This card is urging you to stop, take a deep breath, and maintain a sense of calm as you wait. No matter what it is that you're waiting for, aim for a peaceful composure within yourself. Change is a big deal. And the evolution of self is a changing and long journey that will not happen overnight. A flower does not spring up fully formed from the seeds, but in the end, the beauty is worth the wait. Enjoy the process and try not to rush the ending. Everything comes in its own time. So just keep working on yourself, and eventually with patience, you will blossom in what you are meant to be. So there you go. And the question is, where can I practice patience? Very important question to ask yourself at the start of the fall season. I sincerely hope that this autumn is one that is beautifully blessed in your abundance. The things that you've learned and the things you will choose to do as you move forward. So, see you guys next time.